In this video, I will be looking over 5 teams to start your franchise with in Madden 24. Before we start, I want to say that there is a lot more than 5 teams that is great for a franchise. I might do a part 2 to this video, so don't be surprised when a team you expected isn't on here. Now let's get right into the video. At number 1, we have the New York Jets. Obviously, the Jets just signed Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers, but that sets you up to have 1 year of A-Rod where you're gunning for the title. Then in a season or two, you can replace him with a rookie quarterback after his age catches up with him. So not only does the Jets have a quarterback that can be replaced by a younger option while also being a good starter if you want to win now, but the Jets also have an extremely young defensive core consisting of a 25-year-old Quinnen Williams and a 22-year-old Sauce Gardner. But New York also has a 23-year-old Garrett Wilson and a 22-year-old Breece Hall. But there's extra positives too. The Jets play in a massive market, so it isn't unrealistic for a big-name free agent to sign in New York. It's also not unrealistic that the Jets can compete for a title with a young star quarterback when you decide to replace A-Rod. If you want a young team that is good off the bat, the New York Jets can be your team. At number 2, I have the Indianapolis Colts. Unlike the Jets, the Colts don't have a quarterback that can be easily replaceable in a realistic fashion. The Colts have a quarterback you can build around for years on end. Anthony Richardson is going to be an explosive, fun, and entertaining, and very popular player to be in Madden. Also, the Colts already have a good O-line, so that would be no issue for you. I will say Jonathan Taylor is a bit of a question mark, but you can decide what you want to do with Jonathan Taylor yourself. Maybe you want Jonathan Taylor to leave the Colts and you build a storyline around that, or maybe he sits out for a year and returns after you give him a bigger contract. What you do with Jonathan Taylor really depends on what storyline you settle with, and even though I said it's unrealistic to replace Richardson, if you want to create a storyline that Richardson struggles in his time as a starter, then you can get a replacement if you think that's what you want. But me personally, I think if you pick the Colts, you're better off keeping Richardson. And the last point I want to make about the Colts is that their defense is already going to be good, so there's little rebuilding you have to make there. What I like about Indy is that it's not too unrealistic that they're a really good team in a couple years if Anthony Richardson pans out and maybe you give him a star wide receiver. They may not be a big market like the Jets, but the Colts will be a fun team to do a franchise with. At 3, I have the Vikings. Now before we get to the obvious reason why you should want to make a franchise with Minnesota, let's start off with some other reasons. First off, the Vikings have 2 very good offensive tackles. You have a 85 overall Christian Darrisaw at left tackle and a 86 overall Brian O'Neill at right tackle. Another reason is Byron Murphy Jr. He's a 82 overall 25-year-old cornerback that you can keep for a good 3 to 5 years and have him progress to a star cornerback. At quarterback, you have Kirk Cousins. Now you can keep Kirk, but I doubt many people want to do that. So the obvious choice would be to replace him after a year or two and bring in a new star quarterback that you see fit. Now for the big reason you want to be this team, of course, is Justin Jefferson. He is a rare talent that somehow makes it believable that he can get over 2,000 receiving yards. Not only that, but imagine drafting a young electric quarterback and you can throw dots to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. In a couple years, your receiving core is going to be amazing with Hawkinson, Addison, and Jefferson all progressing. Also, this team doesn't have a running back, so you can draft a electric halfback to replace Madison. Not many teams desperately need a running back, but the Vikings are definitely one of them. At number 4, I have the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, the reason you want the Falcons is the star talent you have in Bijan Robinson. But not only do you have Bijan, but you also have one of the most talented tight ends in a 22-year-old Kyle Pitts. At wide receiver, you have a 22-year-old Drake London. Now this is another team that you're most likely going to replace the quarterback. Now unlike Kirk, there's going to be a decent amount of people who keep Ritter, but in my opinion he's not really a draw for your franchise. And who doesn't love drafting their own quarterback that they can mold into a star? It doesn't end there though. You have an amazing O-line led by a 93 overall Chris Lindstrom. On defense, you have newly signed Jesse Bates, a superstar depth trait AJ Terrell, a 86 Grady Jarrett, and a 85 overall Calais Campbell. This team also has young pieces like Mykal Walker at linebacker and Jeff Okudah at corner. The Falcons will be amazing to play with because of the electric play from Bijan, but I will say this isn't a team that I see being realistically great in 1 or 2 seasons. But as long as you make it believable to yourself or even the people watching, you will be immersed in the Falcons franchise. Lastly, at 5, I have the Arizona Cardinals. Simply put, this is definitely one of the worst teams in the game, so I wouldn't suggest this team if you're only planning on doing 1 or 2 years. This team needs a full rebuild, and to make it believable, you'll need to take about 3 to 5 seasons. Even though this team is horrible, you can't say that they don't have some quality pieces. You have Hollywood Brown at receiver, which if you want to draft another star receiver, then Marquise Brown can be an amazing number 2. You also have, of course, Kyler Murray. Now, how you utilize Murray and how it plays out for you in your franchise is up to you. Maybe you decide you want Kyler to miss some time due to his injury in real life, and you bring in an undrafted quarterback that you created. You could turn off pre-existing injury and let Kyler start the season immediately, or you can decide to make a different storyline. Either way, it will be entertaining with Kyler. Another young piece is Isaiah Simmons. If you play Madden, you know Simmons is a beast and very fun to play with due to his big size and athleticism. In the Madden space, it does seem like Simmons is an entertaining player that people care about. So if you make a YouTube series, Isaiah Simmons will definitely be a player you want to keep. Now I will say this is not a team that is loaded with quality young pieces, like some of the other teams I listed. This is the definition of a team that needs a full rebuild. And if you think you're up to the task, you're going to have some fun trying to make Arizona realistic contenders. And that's going to be the 5 teams I suggest using in Madden 24 franchise. There's a lot more teams, so if you want to see a part 2, make sure to like and comment on the video. If you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe to see more Madden 2K videos. And I will see y'all next time. Peace.